I'm Cameron. I don't just read comics, I love them. And welcome back to another episode of Cameron Reads Comics. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about Not All Robots by Mark Russell, Mike Deodato Jr., and Lee Loughridge. Let's get into it. I freaking love Mark Russell, and he is no stranger to this channel. Everything that he writes, I'm going to read, and I'm working my way through his catalog of books because there's so much to read, and it's all absolutely wonderful. I had been recommended this story a lot, actually, by Pop Culture Maven, and it won an Eisner. So I have friends that worked on this book, Lee Loughridge, so I just knew that this was something I wanted to pick up. And so I saw Mark at WonderCon, I think the year is 2023, and I just knew I needed to pick it up. I also want to say that I think of Mark Russell as the Adam McKay of comics. I think that he masters satire. And this actually is an Eisner Award-winning book for like one of the best comedy publications, humor publications, which I think is wild because I personally found it incredibly depressing, but brilliant. Simultaneously brilliant and depressing. Okay, for accessibility, this is an indie book, which is very good for people who don't read a lot of comics. You don't need to know anything about anything. So you can just hop in, pick it up, come along for the ride. Look around, stay a while. I'm always going to recommend Mark Russell's other books as he writes allegory and satire incredibly well. This is no stranger to that. And also, quick plug, check out my interview with Mark Russell after I read this. I had him on a live stream, and so that I will make sure to link that in my bio and make it available over here. This story is a dystopian sci-fi story about the U.S. automating every industry so much that they have no jobs for humans, and all jobs and income revenue streams have been made by and for robots. Basically, the humans have put robots in every role of every job. And so as a human, my new job is just to kind of hang out and kick around. But my robot is going to be my means of income. And so you're limited on your type of robot you can get based on your own income. The robots are also like super depressed because guess what? There's always new technology. So the new robots outsource these old robots. It's crazy. It's interesting. It's brilliant and poignant. I think an important idea expressed here is that we think automation is going to be better for all industries because it will give humans more time to propel us into the future and for other activities. But, Mark Russell challenges this idea because what do you think is going to become of humans? Do you think we're going to get better or do you think we're going to get lazier? When robots have taken all the jobs and they provide all the incomes, robots become humans. And that makes humans become robots, which is an idea that's really compelling and expressed here in a very interesting way. All of this happened because humans tried to create a world that could no longer sustain themselves. They live in bubble cities because they've kind of ruined the earth so bad that it's not populatable. Inhabitable is the word I'm looking for. So the story explores fun concepts like this and like what kind of like the day in the life family having a robot. But it also goes so much deeper. The idea of the current automation of the U.S. workforce, which is something I thought was going to be a good thing, is explored, and now I don't think so. There's a line in the story where it says, learning to code is a weird way of saying that society has failed you. When I first read this story, I thought it was an allegory for gun violence. I thought because the way that the humans were scared of the robots living in their homes, I thought that was what it was. But after reading more into it, Mark Russell was inspired to write the story based on the Me Too movement. The idea is that we have gotten acclimated to our privilege and thus become okay with the jail that we have placed ourselves in. Humans become robots and prisoners in their privilege cage. This book has a lot of high concept ideas. At the beginning, they feel very heady. It's like, I don't know if I'm understanding everything that's going on here. But that's just the world building. Don't rush it. Just come along for a very thoughtful ride. It doesn't beat you over the head with anything, in my opinion, but it just asks a lot of questions and takes you down roads that are really interesting. Okay, now for the art in this book. Artist Mike Deodato Jr. was freaking amazing. I only knew him from his recent Flash run, and work he's done on Spider-Man. I know, actually, he also did Dark Avengers. He's a really influential artist, a really great visionary. I just think that there was no better artist for this like dystopian story of these robots. You know, I just think that his panel layouts were so futuristic. The way he does it is incredible. Him with Lee Loughridge's colors though too as well. The shading and the color palettes, this book isn't very bright. And I think that's such a cool way that the way that he draws the characters and the way their emotions and the clueless dark looks on their faces. It's so ominous. It's almost horror. I didn't see too much comedy in this book, but maybe that's because I'm just too much of a literal person. It was very dry, which I love. And I think that's kind of where some of the comedy leans itself. It's just not where I picked it up. It's so future, but it's not gimmicky. I thought Mike Deodato Jr. and Lee Loughridge absolutely crushed it on this book. All of it was so well done. The art was amazing. And so now here is our rating. I'm going to give this book an 8.4 out of 10. I think if you're an indie comic fan looking for more of a political book, go check out Not All Robots. It's good, and it's actually a volume 1. And the price on this guy is really cheap. Yeah, $9.99 US. Go buy it full price. $9.99, no big deal. Okay, go check it out. My name's Cameron, and I just read comics. I love them. I'll see you guys next time.